year and the second year are not given so much negative weightage. But if you do have backlogs during your junior year, which is the third year, or the senior year, which is the final year, then yes, that backlog would be significant enough. Why? Because the belief is that junior year and senior year is the time when you do the courses which are strongly related to your area of your degree and therefore strongly related to the master's area as well. So do bear that in mind too. The second point that you need to understand is that if you have too many backlogs, then the weightage actually is phenomenal. Now the definition of too many will differ. When you are aiming for the top colleges, even one can be too many. But then normally to the extent of 4 to 5 colleges are okay to condone. But beyond that, it does become a challenge. Now from the US perspective, the backlogs becomes a challenge not just for your admission, but backlog becomes a challenge for your visa interview. Quite often, even if your backlogs are too many, and then you still have done something extra in terms of your right internship, right publication, you might still get an invite from a decent college. But having got that invite, you finally have to get through the hurdle of the visa interview. And one of the very favorite questions in the visa interview is, how many backlogs have you had? And that is where it will hurt. So it's quite possible that you might get an admission and thus an invite to join a class, but the visa officer decides against giving you a visa. Therefore, this becomes a challenge. Normally, we say anything more than 10 to 12 backlogs would be a challenge for the visa. But if your numbers are lesser than that, then you can still fight for it. But US is not the only country. There are few countries which we know give a lot of weightage. And let's not forget, there's a negative weightage for backlogs. US is one such. Canada is another. Ireland typically would also be penalizing you if you have more than 5 backlogs. But there are few countries which are liberal, which says, all right, you probably have backlogs, but you finally were able to pass, therefore you got the right knowledge. So today, you are in a position where you have done all the requirements of your undergraduation. Therefore, I have no hesitation in giving you admits. And these are decent enough colleges. And one such country is the UK. In United Kingdoms, the colleges are a little more liberal when it comes to considering the backlogs that you have. Not so in various other countries, as I did mention, US, Canada, Germany, for example. Even Australia is a little tighter than that. But having said that, believe me, with more than 13 years of experience of sending a lot of students abroad to various countries across the world, what I do know is if your academics is decent enough, and if the backlog is the only problem that you have, and you have been able to do something better in the other elements of your profile, then you can still get into a decent college, get a good job after that, and make a career for yourself in those countries. Which is where I keep telling my students that the planning for going abroad should happen at least 18 months before you actually go abroad. Why? Because that gives enough time for you to do something extra to strengthen your profile. Backlogs is history. You can't change that. But yes, if you do have time, then you can do that extra positives to see to it that by the time the application goes to the college, the negatives of the backlogs are countered by the positives that you have been able to do. And there are few things which are very simple to do. For example, taking up few online courses and certifications are big positives. And yes, if you can get a publication at the end of the day, because publication reflects your interest in research, to a large extent that will be able to counter the negatives that you have had, either in form of backlogs or lower GPA. Planning to go abroad, as I keep saying, is easy. It is an implementation process where you need guidance. Feel free to write to us. As I said, with 13 years plus of experience in sending a lot of students abroad, we are good at what we do. What we will be doing is we will be looking at your profile and we will be highlighting the positives and the negatives. Positives